Welcome to Chapter 2 Employee Benefit and Scheme of Retirement Planning and Employee Benefit module. So, in this chapter, what we will be learning about is the different type of benefits that the employees get from their company. Some of the benefits are which are provided by the company on a short-term basis, and some are the benefits which are statutory mandated by law. So, the short-term employee benefits includes like wages, salaries, bonus, coverage under group life, medical and accidental insurance, annual leave, concessional loans, education tuition fees, award and recognition, the children's scholarship programs, different type of allowances like conveyance allowances, housing rent allowance, any other benefit which employee gets because of his serving in the company. And the second type of benefit are the statutory benefit, like which are mandated, like gratuity, provident fund, employees state insurance scheme, pension, superannuation schemes, or the voluntary retirement schemes. So let us now move to the payment of gratuity. What is gratuity? Gratuity is in fact covered by the Payment of Gratuity Act 1972. And if you go by the word gratuity, it is very simply defined in dictionary as a reward in lieu of loyalty. Means it is mandated under the law of Payment of Gratuity Act that if an employee serves in any company for more than 5 years, then he is eligible to get gratuity payment from the company. We will discuss about it more in the next slide. So the maximum benefit payable and as per the Act provision is rupees 10 lakhs. But companies are free to pay higher benefits as per their terms of employment. Now, who are the eligible employees to receive gratuity? Any person employed on wages. Any employee should have minimum of 5 years continuous service. In case of death, the gratuity is payable even if he hasn't completed 5 years tenure. Suppose an employee who has just covered 2 years of in service and he dies, then he is eligible to get gratuity payment. Okay, now how the gratuity is calculated? There is a formula. The gratuity is calculated based on last monthly salary, whatever is the last drawing of the employee from the company. Salary for gratuity purpose includes basic salary plus the dearness allowance. Okay, and for every 15 days for the number of years served in the company, and the month is considered to be 26 days for calculating gratuity. That means instead of dividing it by 30 or 31, we divide it by 26. Now, in case of a seasonal employee who is generally employed for a part of the year in any company, suppose for example in sugar industry, what happens is that generally the companies are operational only for the 4-month or 6-month period when the sugar canes are crushed to make sugar. So employees who are employed in those kind of industries are seasonal employee, and for them the calculation is that instead of 15 days of salary, they get 7 days of salary for every completed year. Okay, so that is the only difference between the permanent employee and the seasonal employee. Permanent employee gets 15 days of salary, seasonal employee gets 7 days of salary. Now, let us look at an example which is also given in the book. Okay, so Mr. Raj joined ABC Limited on 28th March 2000 at a monthly salary of rupees 5,000 for the financial year 2013-14. Mr. Raj would be getting rupees 12,500 per month as salary. He expects an increase of 10% in his salary every year from the next year. He would be retiring on 30th June 2026. What would be gratuity entitlement of Mr. Raj as per Gratuity Act? So here what happens is that first we have to find out the salary which will be payable by the company to Raj for the month of June 2026, because that will be the last salary which would be drawn by Raj. So what we have to do, we have to find the future value of rupees 12,500 rupees for 13 periods. Okay, so if we go with this, the monthly salary for financial year 2026-27 will be 12,500 into 1.10, that is the growth rate, to the power 13, which will come to 43,153. That means Raj will be withdrawing 43,153 in June 2026 based on the terms of condition of his employment. Okay, now how will the gratuity be calculated? So we have seen the gratuity, he's a permanent employee, so he's eligible for 15 days of gratuity. So 15 by 26 into 26 years, because he got employed in the year 2000 and he is retiring in the year 2026. That is 26 years he will be serving the company. So 26 will be the number of years, and the last salary drawn by Mr. Raj is 43,153. If we do this calculation, we will get a figure of 6,47,295. That is precisely the eligibility of Raj to get as gratuity from his company. Okay, now we have seen the eligibility of the employee, but what about eligibility of the employer? Employers, any company which has more than 10 employees is covered under the Payment of Gratuity Act. Okay, so 10, and suppose a company is covered under the Gratuity Act in the year 2010 when it employs 10 employees, and in the next year one employee retires or one employee leaves the company, so the strength falls to 9. But in that case also the company will remain covered by the Payment of Gratuity Act. Now in case of the seasonal employee, let us take the same example. The only difference we will find here is that this 15 has been substituted by 7. So his gratuity entitlement will be 3,02,071 rupees instead of 6 lakh rupees which a permanent employee gets. Now, what is the tax treatment of gratuity? As per the income tax, gratuity can be received by any employee. A company can offer gratuity to an employee even though the company is not covered by the Payment of Gratuity Act. So the exemption, the income tax exemption, is basically divided in two parts. One for the employees who are covered by the Payment of Gratuity Act, one for the employees who get gratuity but their company is not covered by the Payment of Gratuity Act. So for the first category of the employee who are covered by the Payment of Gratuity Act, minimum of the 3 conditions is exempt from tax, that is either rupees 10 lakhs which is as permissible by the Act. Second is the gratuity actually received. So suppose we go back to the case of Mr. Raj, he got 6 lakh something, so that is the amount, or 15 days salary based on the last drawn salary for each completed year of service or part thereof in excess of 6 months. So in case of Mr. Raj, gratuity actually received and gratuity as per Act is seen, and that is less than rupees 10 lakh rupees. So in that case, that 6 lakh rupees will be entirely tax free. Now in case of payment of not covered, what happens is that the gratuity, instead of doing the calculation for 15 by 26, we consider the month to be 26. For not covered, we calculate it half month salary, that is 15 by 30. Okay, and whatever is derived is actually free, or out of the three, that is 10 lakh rupees, or the gratuity actually received, or the half month salary. So this is gratuity. Now one more point is the length of the service. How to determine? Suppose there is a part year, then how will you determine the eligibility of the employee based on the length of the service? Suppose an employee who has worked for 10 years and 6 months, then so what happens is that in case of a person who is covered by the Payment of Gratuity Act, any employee who has given a service of more than 6 months, that is more than 6 months and 1 day, then he is given the benefit of 1 extra year. Okay. So if an employee has served for 10 years, 6 months, 1 day, then 11 years will be calculated for his service period. Whereas for the employee who is not covered by the Payment of Gratuity Act, only the completed service years are taken for calculation. So that is the basic difference between the two. Okay, so that is the end of the payment of gratuity. Thank you.